Okay, welcome back to KWC. It's day 2 now. Sorry for a long delay in getting this out. Been very slow. It is all my fault. We'll get through these next ones a lot quicker than I have so far. We're here on our quali lap, 1 lap quali for round number 3. Different layout to day 1. Day 2 was actually running a layout that we hadn't practiced at all because there was a slight change, but I mean, the majority of the track's the same, so it wasn't disastrous. This was a different part here, so turning in early on that straight. This was all very new to us. This was only the second time that we drove the track like this. And then obviously the last section is similar. Not of the best of laps so far. I have pulled a decent kart, which helps. The aim was pole position for this race. Unfortunately, that mid-section of the track was not driven too well. Yeah, which is a shame, because otherwise could have qualified a bit higher up than I did. But this last section's been okay, nice and tidy, so still hopeful of somewhat a high start. Head down all the way to the start line, across the line, and we qualified in 4th place behind the Blue Star boys and this driver to the left of me here, not sure what his name is. But yeah, obviously with these two Blue Star team members right next to each other, we could expect a bit of team play going on. But the aim really was just to stick with them. That would have been a good start. We're away, and I've got Eliano DeVos in front of me. We get a good run on the outside. He's actually able to jump from 2nd to 1st. I nearly jumped from 4th to 2nd. Unfortunately, just didn't quite have the move done. Christian was still alongside me a little bit. And then here, slight mistake where I didn't anticipate Christian to go a bit tighter into the corner, which opened a gap. So that guy also, just slotted his car in the gap. Michael Schottler out of nowhere, out of control, into me there, so that's upset me a bit. He did get a penalty for that, I believe. But yeah, shaking his head. Now we've lost a lot of time to the leaders, which is not good, and it's going to get messy through here. Can't go too wide through here. Schottler's into the wall and spun round. And there's a small gap behind me now, and unfortunately after all of that, now you can see how far the leaders are ahead. It's very hard to catch that type of gap up already, because it's just going to be a slipstream fest. They've broken away, top 4, top 5, they're all within slipstream range. This driver in front of me here, a bit too far back to be getting any slipstream from the driver in front, and likewise with me, with him. So yes, in terms of how lap 1s go, wasn't good, not a good start. Obviously the aim now is just to drive as perfectly as possible. This driver making a slight mistake, and he also brakes quite early for this corner, bit too much than what he needs to. So with how much we've closed the gap already, we're thinking yes, we can definitely try and get by this guy soon. Maybe work together, try and catch up. Again, another mistake there. Just maybe his car's struggling a bit on handling, who knows. But yeah, so we're on his bumper now, and the aim is just to get by and try and catch the leaders. You can never really give up in a race like this. You have to always have your head down, try and see how far you can get up the pack. As I say, started 4th and now down to 7th. I want to say, as you saw, a penalty for number 1, which was Michael Schottler. So a very bad race for Michael Schottler. He's been got a penalty for, I presume, his move on me, because that was the only thing I could see that would have got him a penalty, and being spun round as well. And down the inside on this driver here, tried to make it as clean as possible and overtaking him in such a way that we don't lose as much time, that we lose as little time as possible. But these drivers ahead are a long way ahead already, considering it's only lap 3 or 4. But they've all closed the gap. Unfortunately, we can't. It's just going to be very difficult, really. I mean, we can see if we can try and keep up with them, but it's a very tricky task. you could say, well, he should be able to keep up with the guy who's in first, but you know, it's the two Blue Star drivers, first and second. They're going to be working together, bumper to bumper, pushing each other along, and that's going to be more speed than what I can keep up with. I do have a driver behind me trying to push me along as well. We are working together in this race, but let's see how far we can get. Maybe, you never know, good pit stop, you know, just drive cleanly. All about now is just driving perfectly. All the days of practice that we've all done, this is when it really matters in round 3. And especially when you pull a decent kart like I have, and all these other guys around me have, you want to capitalise on that. You want to get the best result possible, just so when you do get the inevitable slow kart, at least for most of us, you know, that round can go in the bin really, because it is 8 rounds in total. It is only best 7 to count. We've had a first and a ninth so far. We're catching up to a back marker here. As you can see, the top 5 are slowly getting away. This back marker stays nicely out of the way. But yeah, they are slowly getting away lap by lap. It's pretty devastating. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened if I didn't lose all that time at the start and didn't lose that time where Schottler tried to overtake me. But we'll never know. Still got the driver behind me, still trying to drive perfect. It's hard to keep up motivation when you can see people ahead getting away, even though you feel like you're driving as quick as you possibly can. It's difficult. Not really enjoying this layout too much either. The original layout that they proposed for rounds 3 and 4 was a lot more twisty, a lot more indoor-like. I loved it. I think I did very well in the practice in it. And it's a shame that we're not doing that track. I think everyone really enjoyed that layout, and it's a shame they didn't do it in the end. Something about tyres showing high signs of wear, who knows. As you just saw there on the right hand side when I came out that corner, still a lot of karts not too far away from me, so we can't let off the pace. We need to keep it up. We won't let off the pace anyway. We always want to see what can happen. You never know what might happen out in front. Could be a penalty coming someone's way, could be anything. Could be a bad pit stop. You just never know. In terms of pitting, deciding a right time to pit, there's not really too much to worry about for me personally. It's the top 5 that have a lot to think about, because obviously they're all well in the mix with each other, as you can see, bumper to bumper, all 5 of them. I've got nothing really to lose. I mean, I've got a driver behind me pushing me along. I can kind of stop whenever. It's expected that when I do pit, he's going to pit with me. We may be getting closer to that time now. Catching up to another driver here, another back marker who's definitely would have completed his pit stop by now. These curves were very big. You could really feel them when you jump over them. And when do we choose to pit? We've got quite a bit of traffic coming up now, so maybe now would be a good time. But we decide to continue onwards. When we look at the start line, there is around 7 minutes left. So that's 13 minutes gone already. Trying to drive smoothly, trying to catch up. You never know what will happen. But as you can see, they're just slowly eking away. Slowly but surely. I believe at least a driver out of the top 5 has pitted already. No real benefit to that, because he's not going to be getting any slipstream from anyone. Maybe he's hoping that it gets a bit congested in the pit lane, but with how the pit stops work, you can't really get held up. Doesn't really matter how many people pit in front of you. So we catch up to this driver here. Look to go down the inside somewhere. We're going to do it here. As you can see, keeping it wide still, so he loses little time as possible. trusting that he will see us when we go to overtake. And now we're looking at making a pit stop here in round 3 out of whatever position we may be. Probably, actually, the leaders did pit as well this lap, so I think this is the last opportunity to pit, or one of the last opportunities. I say there's no real, there's no stress in terms of how fast you need to drive in the pit lane, because it's all done on a timer, which is more than long enough. As you can see, the Blue Star boys here, looking to come first and second. So we've not dropped that far back from them really overall, considering what happened on lap 1. These karts don't exactly accelerate that fast. Going to see where this driver is. We see him. This is for a potential top 5, but he's just too far away. We're definitely closer than we were before the pit stops, but he's just too far away. We've definitely gained time. He's been running around on his own, and as you can see, he's dropped really far back now from the top 4, and that's why you don't want to really pit out of a pack and run out on your own, because you're just not going to be able to keep up. Absolutely perfect weather as well for these races. Blue sky, not a cloud in sight. Always unique to drive abroad. Compete abroad against people who you don't usually race against. But we've done our best in this race. I think quali let us down, and maybe a few decisions at the start did not go our way. But we've been able to get, well, we're currently sitting in 6th place. I think the driver behind us is not too far behind, but not close enough where we have to defend, which is good. It means for a less stressful last lap. Checking after every corner anyway. And surely we will bring this home in 6th place, which is still a good result. Not the result we would have wanted though, but it's still a good result, and we will take that. Coming around the last few corners here, I believe this is the last lap, and we will come home in 6th place. On to round 4 in the afternoon. Here we go. So round 4, this is the round that I pulled the worst possible kart for the races. I can't remember which kart this was, not that it matters. But this kart was, I want to say, probably contender for one of the slowest ones. It also didn't handle too well. It was very difficult to drive, as you will see throughout this race. I definitely struggled to get used to it, to get comfortable with it. You can already see a bit of oversteer there. But we'll go on with this one lap quali anyway. You already know the deal with how your race is going to go by the kart draw, which is a shame that it works out that way. But the skill is to try and do as well as possible in that kart. So here we go, and look at the oversteer I'm getting there. I turned in and immediately the kart just did not like it, tried to fight back on me. And again, just no front end grip whatsoever. And I'm looking behind me in a quali. That just shows my my confidence right now. Again, you can see so just uneasy with the karts, just constantly stepping out on me. And again through this corner here, this has been a not so nice quali lap at all. Probably the worst quali lap so far. And we're going to be starting in a pretty poor position, to say the least. You can see the guy in front of me has absolutely left me by at least like 1.5 seconds. And we cross the line and we start 21st place, and yeah, not the best. Not the best at all. I think I was only in front of 1 or 2 drivers. Yeah, it's just nothing you can do when these things happen. I knew this was going to be my drop round, or I was hoping that this would be my drop round. What this does mean, though, is going to be a very entertaining first few laps, because the midfield and at the back of the grid, which is where I am now, doesn't really work with each other. It's going to be very interesting indeed. You can see people trying to cut me off here, but we're not having any of it. We're gonna see what we can do, make up as many places as we can. It's very, very messy at the moment. 4 wide there. Bashed into the driver in front of me. And looking to the left here, Selena got pushed off the circuit. And here we go, look, 3 wide in front of us. Never going to work, never going to work. No, we managed to make it through here. We're not going to squeeze that driver because that's just not what we do. And again, oversteer, loaded wide. Not great. Now behind Aidan Kennedy here, and he started a lot higher up than us, so we've made a very good start. More dirt, etc., flying into our faces and into the helmet. And just look how far away Aidan's dropped me there. There's no chance, really. And we're going to try and go down the inside of this driver. Got a good run. Again, we're going to struggle with the front end here, and I know that, so I don't want to go in too hot because I know I'm going to end up pushing him wide. He's still there. Got another driver trying to follow through. That's Anton from American driver as well. And yeah, we're just constantly losing positions here. In the slipstream, we're able to keep up with this guy here. We've got a yellow flag out. Everyone does pretty well to keep the position that they were in. Yeah, line astern, still with yellow flag, and everyone slows down quite suddenly here. But yeah, we carry on with green flag. We see if we can get this driver in front of us, although fighting people is not really on my mind for this. Just if someone wants to overtake, let them do it, see if we can stay in the slipstream. Unfortunately, this driver's pulled away quite a bit. Driver behind pushes me along. This driver tries to go up the inside, messes it up. He's going to try and cut me up here, but we're not having any of that. It's a very tight corner, this one, but it's very good for overtaking. I'm going to open up the corner here. We're still behind Anton. God knows what position I'm in, but I know I've made a good start. Unfortunately, over time, all your hard work, well, all my hard work will undo itself, really, because it doesn't really matter what you do at the start. Over time, it will all even out. Everyone will be where they should be. Again, I'm just not comfortable in this car at all. Trying to get comfortable. Anton running pretty wide there. He's pretty displeased with himself. Got some pitters, but we're just going to stay out. This driver's going to come alongside me here. I just wave him by. I'm thinking, you go, mate. I can't do anything. I'm hoping that he's going to just move on. And he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to defend here. I think it's not the best idea. He's constantly looking behind his head. He's about defending. I don't know why he's defending. You know, there's no point. There's no need. I've already said go by. Got a long train behind me. And this guy boosts away. And I made a terrible mistake there. I'm just not comfortable. This is not going well at all. Really not enjoying this race. I wasn't looking forward to it before the race. I'm certainly not enjoying it. The only thing I'm enjoying is this race ending. You can see the gap the guy in front pulled on me already, albeit I did make a mistake. And, yeah, we move a bit further along. Probably gonna have someone overtake us here, and we do, which is fine. If anything, it's a good thing. It means I can stay in his slipstream and try and make a bit more progress. Unfortunately, he makes a big mistake, but it is what it is. He's very displeased with himself. And also, I've got another driver following through. And another driver following through. So now we really are dropping positions. It was expected, you know. It wasn't going to last. Just a bit of fun trying to overtake people at the start. All we can really try and do now is keep up with them. And as you can see, that's a near impossible task with how far away they're getting away from us already. Again, struggling with that oversteer. It's just no front end. Obviously, after this race would mark the halfway point of the heats. Obviously 8 heat races in total, and then a semi-final and a final. I think it was top 64 go to the semi-finals, and the top 32 go into the final. We could see if we can make it that far on our first ever attempt at the KWC. These drivers in front of us still battling away. So I think, you know what, let's just pit. Let's get this over and done with. I'm done with being here in this position behind drivers who are battling over a God knows what position it is. Is it the right idea? Who knows? Was I really losing that much time? Doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm going to pull any good result from this race anyway. Nonetheless, we push on. Just behind these two drivers here who've already pitted. Everyone around us has already pitted. Because obviously when you pit, you do come out a lot further away from the drivers who you were originally around. I think it's a 35-second pit stop, something like that. And this driver behind me right now, I knew he was coming up to me very fast for a couple of laps. I gave up hope on, well, I didn't give up hope, I just thought, you go through, let's see if I can stick with you, because it would be very useful if I can. I believe this was a junior driver, so a talented one at that. I think he came top 3 overall, I believe. Maybe. But now we just need to drive perfect. We need to stay close to him. As you can see, he slowly starts to accelerate away, and then the slipstream kind of keeps us close enough to him. Again, really enjoying this track. It's always nice to drive it at a different track. Driven so many different tracks in the UK. There's none that are quite like this. So nice and open. Slight mistake from me there. Let's see if that costs me. Am I going to be able to keep up with him? Because obviously it's important, because, you know, if I can keep up with him and his pace, which is definitely quicker than mine, it means I can jump some people in the pits, maybe the people we were originally with. Driver in front, unfortunately, hit the curb in a weird way, lost a bit of time, although that didn't really affect me. If anything, it helps. Eurolean galore by this driver here. And we're able to stay quite close to him for now. Pretty pleased with how it's going, all things considered. The race leaders are actually only about a corner or two behind. And the last thing you want to do is get lapped. Well, yeah, it was just amazing, really. You could have one race where, well, for me, round 1, winning it. The race before this one, you know, qualifying on the second row, and then find yourself on the back row, second back row in the next one. So it really was a lottery. But as I say, the skill was just trying to make the best of what you had, using all of your racecraft to get a good result, and we are certainly able to keep up with this driver for now. Really important we don't make a mistake. Which is easy to do in these karts. You didn't really feel like you had much control over them. They would kind of just do their own thing. You had to be patient with it. Very difficult to drive the kart. The kart kind of drove you. Through King's Corner and this quick chicane here, all over the curbs. Riding that curb on the right, chuck it in, riding another curb on the right. Such a good track, really fun to drive, just not having so much fun in this race really. But we are keeping up with this driver, which is really positive, especially the speed that he caught me up was quite a lot. It was at least like, I want to say 7/10 a lap. And to the left there were the race leaders. They are coming thick and fast. I think it's Ruben Boothson's leading this race. Look at the drive that driver got there. Really left me there. But I'm pretty good at this section, so hopefully we can try and keep up. Trying to deal with the oversteer. Again, there's lots of people pitting now. I think we'll see again when we cross the start line which stage of the race this is. It's going to get action packed. There's only a couple minutes left. And I think if I'm thinking about the right race, this is the race where we have a very action packed last lap. As you can see, there's loads of drivers ahead now. This is all for position. So we're really not too far away from essentially the mid pack. I mean this is the battle for like the middle positions in the race at the front of this pack here. So we've done all right considering we started P21. We knew we were a bit screwed, but we've pushed on, and I mean 11th place maybe is just only up ahead. And although that doesn't sound too great, it is halfway up the grid. A lot of battling going on ahead here, and still yet more people to come out of the pit lane to finish their pit stop. And there we go. You can see another driver coming out of the pits here. Just staying in front. He was actually very nice to stay to the side there. I thought he would just cut straight in front of me there, but he didn't. But he will be all over me. And obviously we're getting to the very late stages of this race now. Everyone is thinking about full position. This guy behind is pushing me. I just don't see a need to defend right now. It would throw any opportunity away at keeping up with these guys in front. Finally got a bit more grip on those fronts. You see the kart oversteering a lot less now. And here we go. Just look at the amount of time we've lost there. And away this driver goes. He's able to overtake me quite easily there. Again, slipstream assisted. But I'm just hoping that he can just bring me towards those drivers in front. Get us a bit more in contention, see what we can do. And again, he powers away. Still some of the leaders yet to pit. Just keeping an eye on where they are. Slight mistake from me there. Really not the right time to do it. But here we go. The battle intensifies up front. That driver's not too happy at all. Whacks the tyre wall. Not happy at all. Again, I know I've got in front of him here, but there is just no point in defending this. We're battling, we're really scraping the bottom of positions here. There's just no point. He's going to fly back past me in a second now anyway. And there he goes. Passes me as if I'm standing still. Defending very hard, or maybe that's just his line. Seems to work for him. Yeah, overall, I mean, this is just a dreadful race. A shame that I had to finish the day on this race and carry it till the next day. It's always nice to finish the day on a good race. Give you some momentum to the next day. But it was fun to be around a lot of battling, and as you can see right ahead, there's another big gaggle of karts. So in the grand scheme of things, we really weren't too far away. But at the end of the day, it's just whatever position you finish in, people care about. There's only a minute left. There's another driver coming out the pit lane. Comes out right in front of this driver here. And as I say, the battle intensifies once again. I might be thinking of a different race maybe, where I was defending my heart out. But we are entering the closing stages of this race. We have driven as hard as possible. Unfortunately, the result just does not reflect the effort that we've put in. The kart that we've had to deal with in both pace and control. It is the last lap. We're going to see if we can scrape any position here at all. See if we can get this driver here, but just not working out. Maybe I've called this a bit early. Maybe there is one more lap. It's difficult to tell. There is one more lap. Here we go. Just getting absolutely dropped. We're going to try our best to keep up with this battle here for just one more lap. See if we can get anyone. It's getting very aggressive. This will help us keep up with them. This track is so wide, so it's so easy to overtake round here. Driver from Norway in front of us here. Going into King's Corner one last time. And you can tell how much everyone's been battling. We've caught up to this battle of 4, even though our group's been battling 2. We're going to go down the inside of this driver here as an attempt to try and overtake and get one more position, but it's just not going to happen, unfortunately for us. And that is the day done with round 3 and 4. It's a shame they ended off that way. We did have one good race and we had one very bad race. Can't afford too many more of those. But thank you very much for watching, and we'll head into day 3.